not ready.
It was night on the eastern coast of the United States, and the waves of the Atlantic whispered against the shore. Inside the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., an extraordinary emergency meeting was underway. Satellite images had rattled the intelligence community. Something had been spotted near the moon, an object unlike any human technology. It was roughly oval in shape, but surrounded by a halo of light and streaks of blue flame. Radar systems tried to lock onto it, but every signal bounced back, disrupted by some unknown energy field. Military analysts debated whether it was a meteor or some secret space technology from a rival nation. Then, in a single instant, the object entered Earth's atmosphere at a speed 10 times faster than sound. The skies over New York, Washington, and Los Angeles lit up as if the sun had suddenly risen. In the eyes of the Pentagon's generals, concern turned into grim certainty. This was no ordinary event. This was the greatest moment in human history. First contact with an extraterrestrial life form. In the western deserts of the United States, near Nevada, the ground began to tremble. Out of a storm of sand emerged a colossal spacecraft, larger than any football stadium, its surface etched with glowing symbols in a language unknown to humanity. The lower section of the craft began to open, and a beam of light descended to the ground, like a staircase from the heavens. From this light, tall, slender beings with metallic-like skin stepped forward. Their large, deep eyes gave the unsettling impression that they could peer directly into one's mind. In their hands, they carried weapons that did not fire, bullets or shells, but unleashed pure bursts of energy. The U.S. military quickly deployed helicopters and tanks, but within the first clash, it became clear the enemy's power was beyond anything known. American artillery shells simply dissolved against their energy shields, while the aliens' weapons could melt a tank in a single strike. The scorching desert air was now heavy with the smell of burning metal and gunpowder. When American media broke the news, panic swept across the nation. Every channel replayed footage of the desert battle. People fled their homes for shelters, while emergency sirens wailed in major cities. In New York's Times Square, thousands stared at the giant screens showing the alien invaders, their faces frozen in fear. Inside the White House, the president and top advisors gathered in an urgent meeting. The question on everyone's mind: was this attack solely on the United States, or on all of humanity? The National Security Advisor reported that another massive alien vessel had appeared over the Atlantic Ocean, and satellite data indicated it was heading straight for Washington. The U.S. military declared DEFCON 1, the highest state of war readiness. The U.S. Air Force scrambled squadrons of F-35 fighter jets, accompanied by B-2 stealth bombers, tasked with striking the massive alien ship. The skies became a surreal battlefield. On one side, human aircraft. On the other, drone-like alien craft that moved without sound, changing direction with impossible agility. American missiles locked on and streaked toward their target. But as they neared, a glowing blue shield enveloped the alien vessel, detonating the explosives harmlessly outside. In response, the aliens unleashed a massive energy beam, annihilating half the squadron in seconds. The sky was alight with explosions, and burning debris rained down like fire from the heavens. On the ground, soldiers shouted over the radio that the enemy's technology was centuries ahead of anything humans possessed. After the first clash, the U.S. military reached out to NATO allies. Britain, France, and Germany began preparing their forces. But the aliens wasted no time. They launched simultaneous attacks on 3 major cities along the eastern seaboard: New York, Washington, D.C., and Boston. Entire skyscrapers collapsed under the impact of a single alien strike. U.S. Marines and Special Forces engaged in guerrilla-style resistance inside the cities. Streets were littered with rubble, smoke, and shell casings. Civilians huddled in underground subway stations while soldiers scrambled to evacuate the wounded. On every news channel across the globe, the same images played: humanity locked in a war with a non-human enemy, in a battle beyond imagination. This was no longer just America's fight. It was the ultimate test for all humankind. With the major cities under attack, the U.S. military began coordinating with global forces. NATO initiated Operation Iron Shield, a combined effort to establish defensive perimeters around key urban centers. Across the Pacific, Japan scrambled its advanced fighter jets, while Australia deployed naval fleets to the South China Sea in case alien forces expanded their assault. But the aliens were methodical. They avoided unnecessary destruction and targeted only military installations, power grids, and communication hubs, as if disabling humanity's ability to fight rather than annihilating it entirely. This precision raised new questions. Among scientists and intelligence officers, were the aliens here to conquer or to send a warning? In underground command bunkers, maps of the world glowed red with invasion points. Yet amid the chaos, small resistance cells of civilians and soldiers began to form. Using old analog communication devices immune to alien jamming, they plotted hit-and-run attacks. Humanity's spirit of defiance was stirring. In Washington, D.C., the alien forces advanced like a tidal wave. The White House had already been evacuated, with the president relocated to a secure bunker deep in the Appalachian Mountains. Marines fought desperately on Pennsylvania Avenue, using javelin missiles and anti-air guns to hold back alien ground units, tall, insect-like war machines with multiple legs and glowing plasma cannons. Despite their efforts, the aliens breached the city's defenses within hours. The Washington Monument cracked in two, collapsing in a cloud of dust. In the chaos, the U.S. flag atop the Capitol was scorched by a precision energy strike, a symbolic blow that broadcast across alien and human channels alike. Yet even as the city fell, American Special Forces detonated a series of EMP charges, temporarily disabling several alien craft. For the first time, human weapons had inflicted visible damage, a small but vital morale boost. The war was no longer contained to American soil. Reports flooded in from Europe, Asia, and Africa. Alien vessels appeared over London, Paris, Moscow, and Beijing, but they did not immediately attack. Instead, they hovered ominously, observing, scanning, and perhaps waiting. World leaders convened an emergency United Nations Summit. The first time in history, it was held in an undisclosed underground facility. There, heated debates erupted. Some leaders argued for unconditional surrender to avoid mass extinction, while others, especially from smaller nations with nothing to lose, demanded resistance to the very end. Meanwhile, alien transmissions were intercepted but could not be decoded. Linguists and AI systems worked around the clock, desperately trying to understand the invaders' language. Every hour without communication felt like an eternity. In Manhattan, the streets had turned into war zones. Skyscrapers smoked, sirens wailed, and the Hudson River was littered with wreckage. U.S. Navy SEAL teams conducted sabotage missions against alien patrols, striking from the shadows before vanishing into the subway tunnels. Civilians, armed with whatever they could find, rifles, Molotov cocktails, even construction tools, fought alongside the military. But the aliens adapted quickly. Small spider-like drones were deployed, skittering through rubble to hunt down hiding soldiers. Their sensors could detect body heat, making concealment nearly impossible. Still, the defenders refused to yield. The Statue of Liberty stood scarred but unbroken, becoming a rallying point for resistance fighters. Overhead, alien ships blotted out the sun, casting the city into an eerie twilight even at midday. In a secure research lab deep beneath Colorado, a team of physicists and engineers made a startling discovery. Analysis of the damaged alien craft from Washington revealed that their shields were powered by a highly unstable crystalline element, one that resonated at a specific frequency. If a weapon could be tuned to that frequency, the shields might be disrupted long enough for conventional weapons to strike. The scientists worked feverishly, reverse engineering the crystal's properties. The project was codenamed Project Dawnfire. Only a handful of prototypes could be made, and they would have to be deployed in high-risk, close-range missions. For the first time, there was a glimmer of hope. But hope came with a deadline. Satellite scans showed a massive alien fleet assembling on the moon, as if preparing for a final, decisive blow against Earth. High above Earth, the moon's shadow concealed a sight that chilled. Military commanders to the bone, hundreds of alien vessels, some the size of cities, assembling in perfect formation. Reconnaissance drones sent by the Space Force transmitted images of massive weapon arrays being activated. Analysts estimated that once this fleet descended, it could level every major city on the planet in a matter of hours. The president convened the Joint Chiefs and NATO, leadership via secure holo conference. The decision was unanimous. Project Dawnfire would be launched in a coordinated global strike. But to get the prototype weapons close enough to work, strike teams would have to infiltrate alien landing zones on Earth and place the devices directly beneath enemy ships. It was a suicide mission, but volunteers poured in from every branch of service. Humanity had finally united under one desperate cause: survival. Under the cover of night, blacked-out helicopters and stealth, transport planes ferried strike teams into occupied cities. New York, Washington, Los Angeles, and Boston became the primary targets. Each team carried a single Dawnfire device, a compact but deadly weapon tuned to the alien shield frequency. In New York, Navy SEALs rappelled from rooftops into the heart of alien patrol zones. In Los Angeles, Marine raiders crept through the sewer systems, emerging beneath alien craft. Across the world, resistance fighters staged coordinated distractions, drawing alien forces into open streets where ambushes could hit hardest. The aliens, though technologically superior, seemed momentarily confused by the sudden surge of coordinated human attacks. For the first time since the invasion began, humans weren't just defending, they were hunting. As the ground teams worked, the U.S. Air Force, alongside RAF and French fighter squadrons, launched the largest coordinated air assault in human history. Waves of F-35s, Typhoons, and Rafales streaked into the sky, targeting alien escort drones to clear the way for bomber formations. The aliens countered with blindingly fast interceptors and beams of plasma that cut through aircraft like paper. Dogfights erupted above burning cities, trails of smoke crisscrossing the clouds. Then, for the first time, a Dawnfire device was detonated mid-air near an alien cruiser over Boston. The shield shimmered, cracked, and collapsed. A barrage of missiles followed, tearing into the alien hull until it exploded in a fireball visible for miles. The victory electrified human forces everywhere. The enemy could bleed. In the ruins of Washington, Special Forces planted a Dawnfire device directly beneath the largest alien command ship hovering over the National Mall. The detonation sent a pulse of resonating energy upward, ripping through the shield. Anti-air missile batteries hidden among the debris opened fire, striking the ship in multiple sections. Flames and debris rained down on the Lincoln Memorial as the alien vessel crashed into the Potomac River. Surviving alien ground, units fought fiercely, but without their command vessel's coordination, they began to retreat. For the first time since the invasion began, U.S. troops were able to push the enemy back beyond the city limits. The stars and stripes were raised once again above the battered Capitol ruins, a symbolic act broadcast, lived to every surviving television and satellite link. With Earth's defenses rallying, the final phase of Project Dawnfire began, taking the fight to the moon, using hastily retrofitted rockets and commandeered civilian spacecraft. A coalition strike force launched from Cape Canaveral, Baikonur, and Japan's Tanegashima Space Center. The journey was perilous. Alien orbital patrols intercepted several ships, destroying them before they reached lunar orbit. But a handful broke through, landing on the moon's surface near the alien staging grounds. There, under the eerie glow of Earth hanging in the sky, soldiers engaged in brutal zero-gravity firefights among jagged craters. Dawnfire charges were planted on the alien fleet's largest warships. The plan was simple: detonate them all at once, crippling the fleet before it could descend. Just as the charges were armed, a shocking betrayal unfolded. A small faction within the human coalition, convinced that resistance was hopeless, attempted to negotiate with the aliens by disabling several Dawnfire devices. They believed surrender could save what remained of humanity. But the aliens responded not with mercy, but with a sudden, devastating counterattack, killing the defectors instantly. The remaining soldiers, fueled by rage, doubled their efforts to complete the mission. In the chaos, the alien fleet began powering its weapons, the glow of their main cannons bathing the lunar surface in an ominous light. With seconds to spare, the surviving strike teams activated the Dawnfire sequence. A cascade of synchronized explosions erupted across the moon's surface, sending shockwaves through the thin lunar dust. Alien shields collapsed in shimmering ripples, and within moments, secondary blasts tore open the colossal warships. The sky above Earth lit up with burning, debris streaking through the atmosphere like a meteor storm. From New York to Tokyo, people looked up and saw the impossible. The alien fleet breaking apart before their eyes. Communications across human channels erupted in cheers, prayers, and tears. Against all odds, the most advanced invasion force in history had been dealt a crippling blow. In the aftermath of the detonation, alien forces on Earth began a rapid withdrawal. Their ground troops disengaged from combat zones. Their patrol drones vanished into the clouds, and their command ships accelerated toward the dark side of the moon. No pursuit was possible. Humanity was too exhausted, its forces too depleted. But the message was clear. For now, the invaders had been beaten back. Satellite images showed fragments of alien vessels drifting into deep space, but no one knew if they were truly defeated or merely regrouping for another strike. The war had left scars deeper than the rubble in the streets. Cities lay in ruins, economies were shattered, and millions were dead or missing. But the invasion had also united humanity in a way nothing else could. Former rivals shared resources and technology. Nations opened their borders to refugees without question. The scientific breakthroughs from Project Dawnfire began, a new era of energy and defense research. And though the threat was gone, for now, military satellites and space telescopes kept constant watch on the void, ready for any sign of the enemy's return. Months after the retreat, a single alien probe was discovered drifting in Earth's orbit. It carried no weapons, no crew, only a single transmission beacon. When decrypted, the message was chilling in its simplicity. We have measured your strength. You are not ready. Whether it was a threat or a promise remained unclear, but humanity understood the meaning. The war was only the beginning, and somewhere, far beyond the stars, the true masters of the alien fleet were watching, waiting for the day they would return.